I never thought I'd be the guy to catch his wife cheating on him, especially not during our pregnancy. Chloe and I had been together for 5 years. We got married pretty young, and everyone said we were the perfect couple. She was beautiful, smart, a little bitchy sometimes, but in a way that made her charming. I loved her, or at least I thought I did until I started noticing little things that didn't add up. At first, it was subtle. Chloe's phone was always locked, more than usual. She'd hide it when she got texts, and whenever I tried to peek, she'd snap at me. She'd say I was paranoid, that she was just busy with work or some new hobby she picked up after she got pregnant. I trusted her, or I thought I did. But then I started noticing her messages. Small things at first, flirty emojis with her friends, late-night texts that she quickly deleted if I came into the room. Nothing concrete, just enough to make my gut tighten. Then came the real signs. She started going out more often, claiming it was prenatal yoga or shopping with her friends, but I'd catch her stories on social media showing her at bars, laughing with some guy I'd never seen before. She'd come home late, smelling of perfume I didn't recognize. I asked her about it once, just straight up, "Who was that guy you were with last night?" And she rolled her eyes, scoffing, "It's none of your business. Relax, I'm pregnant, not dead." Her tone was dismissive, and honestly, it stung. I wanted to believe her, but my gut said otherwise. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I was trying to be supportive, especially with her pregnancy. I knew she was stressed, hormonal, all that. But deep down, I felt this gnawing suspicion that I was missing something, or worse, that I was about to find something I didn't want to see. I kept telling myself, she's just overwhelmed. Give her space. But the little voice inside kept whispering that she was hiding something. I just didn't know how bad it was going to get. One night, I was sitting on the couch scrolling through my phone, trying to relax after a long day, when I noticed a notification pop up on Chloe's tablet. It was a message from some guy named Jake, and the message was pretty explicit. It wasn't just flirty talk, these were things I never thought I'd see from my wife. It was about sex, plans to meet up, how she couldn't wait to see him again. My stomach dropped. I stared at the screen, not sure if I was dreaming or if this was real. I couldn't believe my eyes. Chloe was sitting right there, watching TV, acting like she was the perfect pregnant wife. I felt this boiling mix of anger, confusion, and heartbreak. I wanted to scream, to shake her and ask what the hell was going on, but I didn't move. I just sat there staring hard at that message, trying to process what it meant. How long had this been going on? Was I that blind, or was she just good at hiding it? The next morning, I waited till she was in the shower, then I grabbed her tablet, copying the messages onto my phone. I needed proof. I didn't want to be that guy who jumps to conclusions, but the evidence was undeniable. Chloe's texts were full of lies and betrayal. She lied about everything, her whereabouts, her intentions, her feelings. She'd been pretending to be supportive, acting like she was the perfect pregnant wife, but behind my back she was screwing around with Jake. I'd finally found the breaking point. When she got out of the shower, I looked her right in the eye and held up the phone. "Who the hell is Jake?" I asked, my voice trembling. She paused, looked surprised for a second, then scoffed. "What are you talking about? That's just some guy from work. We're just friends, okay? You're overreacting, stay calm." But her voice was shaky and her eyes darted around. That's when I knew she was lying badly. I felt a rush of rage and disappointment. It hit me hard. My wife was cheating on me while I was trying to support her through her pregnancy. She was pretending to be the perfect partner, but she was out there, sneaking around with some guy, probably having sex, while I was at home, worried sick about her and our baby. Everything I believed in, everything I thought I knew about her, was crumbling in that moment. I didn't know who she really was anymore, and I felt like my world was shattering. I couldn't handle it anymore. I told her I needed to talk, and she gave me that look, defensive, bitchy, like I was the one overreacting. She crossed her arms and snapped, "Oh, so now you're accusing me of cheating? Seriously, you think I'd do that while I'm pregnant? Grow up." But I wasn't going to be dismissed that easily. I pressed her, showing her the messages, and her face twisted like I'd just slapped her. Her reaction, she played the victim. "You're crazy," she said, rolling her eyes. "You're just paranoid because of the hormones. Jake's just a friend. We're just talking about work stuff. You're seeing things that aren't there." She tried to deny it, but I wasn't buying her bullshit anymore. The proof was right in front of me. The texts, the late nights, the perfume on her clothes I didn't recognize. All of it screamed betrayal. She kept telling me I was overreacting, that I was insecure, that I was making a big deal out of nothing. But I knew better. I felt this cold, deep betrayal twisting inside my chest. How could she lie so easily? How could she pretend everything was normal while she was sneaking around? Behind my back, I was furious, hurt, and feeling more lost than I ever had in my life. This wasn't just about the affair anymore, it was about trust, about who she really was. And the worst part, she was so damn good at pretending she cared, acting like I was the one causing trouble. I didn't sleep that night. I kept rereading those messages, trying to understand how someone I loved, someone I trusted, could do this to me. I was angry at her, yes, but mostly I felt stupid. Stupid for believing in fairy tales, stupid for thinking we had something real. And this was just the beginning, I knew it. The betrayal cut so deep, I couldn't see how I was going to come out of this without feeling broken. But I also knew I couldn't stay silent forever. I had to decide what to do next, whether to fight for this marriage or just walk away. The pain was so heavy I felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. Over the next few days, everything changed. I couldn't focus at work, couldn't sleep, and I was constantly on edge. I kept replaying that moment of discovery, trying to find some way to make sense of it all. Every time Chloe looked at me with her fake, I'm innocent expression, I wanted to scream. I thought about confronting her again, demanding the truth, but honestly, I was exhausted. The lies, the deception, it had drained me. I started to realize how much her betrayal had broken something inside me. I didn't trust her anymore, not even a little. One evening she came home pretending to be sweet, rubbing her belly, acting all innocent. She tried to kiss me, but I pulled away. I looked her in the eyes and said, "I know what you're doing, I know about Jake, tell me why." Her face twisted again, this time with rage. She spat, "You're crazy, I don't know what you're talking about. You're just jealous because I'm pregnant and stressed out. Maybe if you weren't so insecure, you'd see how much I'm doing for this family." That was her go-to line. Blame me, call me insecure, make me feel like I was the one losing my mind. I was seeing red. I told her I wasn't going to be played like this anymore, that I'd had enough of her lies and manipulations. She rolled her eyes and snapped back, "Whatever. You're just a jealous, insecure little man. If you don't like what you see, maybe you should leave." It was a slap in the face, but deep down I knew she was just trying to get under my skin. The thing was, her words didn't hurt as much as the realization that she'd been lying all along, that she'd used me, played me for a fool, while she was out there doing whatever with Jake. I started planning. I knew I needed to get proof, something undeniable. I wanted to catch her in the act, see her with my own eyes, or find more messages, something concrete. I also knew I had to protect myself and our unborn child. The betrayal was one thing, but I had a responsibility now. I had to decide what I was going to do with this information. I felt betrayed, humiliated, but I also felt this strange sense of resolve. I wasn't going to let her walk all over me. Not anymore. The days that followed were a blur of planning and heartbreak. I started secretly checking her phone, her emails, anything I could get my hands on. I needed to see if there was more to her lies, more proof that could finally make her admit what she'd been doing. She kept acting normal, cooking dinner, pretending everything was fine, while I was quietly unraveling inside. I couldn't believe how good she was at hiding her tracks, but I also knew this wasn't going to last forever. One night I decided to follow her. She said she was going out with her friends, but I knew that was bullshit. I hid in my car, watching her slip into some dingy bar downtown. She met Jake there. I could see them through the window, and they weren't just talking about work. They were kissing, holding each other like they were the only two people in the world. It was raw and real, and it hit me like a punch to the gut. All that pretending, all her lies, she'd been sneaking around, cheating on me during what was supposed to be the happiest time of our lives. My mind raced. I was furious. But I also felt this strange, sick sense of clarity. This was her real self, the bitchy, manipulative, selfish person she'd been hiding behind a smile. I knew I couldn't stay silent anymore. I needed to confront her with the proof, and I knew exactly how I was going to do it. I waited until she left the bar, then I followed her home. I parked down the street and watched her walk into the house, her face lit by her phone screen. She looked so confident, so sure of herself. That's when I knew I had to act fast. The next morning I woke up early, my mind made up. I wanted her to see that I wasn't some fool anymore, that I had caught her. I took screenshots of the pictures of her kissing Jake, the messages I'd found, everything I had. Then I went straight to her, laid the evidence on the table and said, "It's over, I know everything." Her face paled and then the bitchy attitude came back. "You're a psycho. You're making this all up," she spat, trying to deny it, but I wasn't fooled anymore. I saw who she really was. That moment was the turning point. I knew I couldn't fix this, not with her. I felt betrayed. Beyond words, but I also felt a strange sense of relief. I had finally uncovered the truth. The woman I loved, the woman I married, was a liar and a cheat. I realized I deserved better, someone who wouldn't lie to me, who wouldn't cheat on me while I was carrying her child. The pain was still there, but I knew I had to accept it, face it, and move on. Some part of me was broken, but I also felt a flicker of strength growing inside. I had to decide whether I was going to fight for this marriage or walk away for good. After I showed her everything, the screenshots, the messages, the evidence, her facade completely cracked. She started yelling, trying to deny everything, but it was useless. I could see her for what she really was. That bitchy, manipulative side she kept hidden. She threw fits, called me crazy, said I was jealous, but I knew the truth now. There was no denying it. Chloe had been cheating on me with Jake for months, probably longer. During my pregnancy, no less. Honestly, I felt a mix of relief and deep sadness. Relief because I finally knew the truth and I didn't have to wonder anymore. Sadness because I had loved her, believed in us, and she'd thrown it all away. The betrayal cut so deep I wasn't sure I'd ever fully recover, but I also knew I had to do what was right for me and for my baby. I told her to leave, not just because I was furious, but because I couldn't stand to see her pretend everything was normal anymore. I wanted the truth out in the open, and I wanted her gone. The months that followed were the hardest of my life. I moved out of our house, leaving behind the memories we created together. I felt empty, betrayed, and angry, but I also knew I had to focus on my own healing. I went to therapy, tried to understand how someone I loved could do this to me, to our child. I cut her out of my life as much as I could, no contact, no excuses. I knew I deserved better than someone who could betray me that way, especially while I was trying to support her through her pregnancy. Looking back, I learned a lot from this. Trust is fragile, and sometimes people hide who they really are behind a pretty smile. I should have trusted my instincts earlier, but I was blinded by love. Now I see things differently. I see that some people are just selfish, and their actions reveal their true colors. I still hurt, but I also feel a strange sense of liberation. I know I'll be stronger because of this, and I owe that to myself and my child. To anyone out there going through the same thing, trust your gut. Don't ignore the signs. And never let someone manipulate or lie to you just because you love them. You're worth more than betrayal, more than someone pretending to be what they're not. Keep your head up, stay honest with yourself, and remember, you deserve someone who values you, not someone who cheats behind your back.